even just feathering the throttle, it's very playful, makes you smile instantly. The steering as well has got a beautiful weight to it, so precise. Hi, this is Raj from MR Sportscars. In this video I'm going to take this beautiful BMW M2 Competition out for a drive. It's a car we've had once before, we've got it back again. We're predominantly a Porsche specialist, but my background is all high performance sports cars, including beautiful M cars. So I couldn't resist taking this car back in and finding a lovely new owner for it, because it's a very special car. Lots of CS upgrades, M Performance parts as well. So it's got the M Performance Bootlid, bonnet, big brake kit from the factory as well. So basically every option ticked from the factory apart from the sunroof. So I'm going to take it for a drive, but first of all I was going to highlight some of the other special bits on it. So it's an M2 Competition. This is a file we put together. It's got the big brake kit, as I said. Standard, it has 404 horsepower. This car has upwards of 500 horsepower, so 500, 510, something like that, because it's had the ECUTEK Stage 1 Remap, which actually it says it's 510 to 520 horsepower. It also has the VRSF Induction kit, has front control arm bushings from Milway, and the full KW Club Sport suspension system, as well as all the other lovely bits that these cars have, especially when they're fully optioned like this car. So I will just quickly show you. It has the beautiful M Performance heated steering wheel, M Performance gear knob, and all the carbon bits along the bottom there as well. So I'm going to take it for a drive now and tell you exactly what it's like behind the wheel. Okay, so I'm just heading out in this M2 Comp. I've just got it in standard mode at the moment. It is a 6-speed manual with a very lightweight clutch, so it does feel very sensitive to any clutch movement. As you'd expect, it is a sports car. It's not designed to be something that's super easy to drive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is easy to drive. You do get used to it, but it's one that if you don't respect the clutch, it will kangaroo, especially with this engine tune. So as I said, they come with just over 400 horsepower from the factory, the 3-litre twin turbo straight six. This one has over 500 horsepower, so it makes it very tricky sometimes, especially when cold, to drive it smoothly. And that's why I've left it in standard mode for now, because that's efficient dynamics mode with the steering wheel set on sport, so it's got the more weightier feel to the steering system. I mean, I absolutely love all sports cars. This is obviously a rear-wheel drive high performance car. The M2, I feel, replaced, in terms of its size dimensions, for me it's a similar size to an E46 M3, and it's a great follow-on from the absolutely sublime 1M. The styling is just fantastic as well, but this car is an absolute hooligan, which is why I wanted it back. Not only do you hear the exhaust popping and cackling, you also hear that induction build up through the engine bay. I think the carbon bonnet helps to sort of transmit more of the noise through the car. Now the roads are very, very slippy today. This car with that power will spin up its wheels 4th gear, no problem. It's sensational feeling that power through the chassis on demand. Now the the remap is also very, very sophisticated, because it seems to have also mapped in sorry, I just have to concentrate on this bit of road, especially with the tyres being cold. The computer does actually tell you what temperature the tyres are, as well as the pressure, so it's a very useful measure to see when your tyres are actually heating up and getting to a usable temperature. This car's got Michelin Super Sports, which are ones that are slightly less extreme than a Cup 2, but still got lots of stickiness, more suited to summer driving, I'd say. Now, as I was saying about the remap, so when you have it in M1, which this car's been programmed to have Sport Plus on the engine side and still the Sport steering wheel in terms of weight, it seems to hold the revs both obviously on downshifts, so it does rev matching, but on upshifts it actually revs up as well, up revving, which means that you keep the boost ready for that next gear. It doesn't have to build it back up again. So it's a really sophisticated map that's been put on this car, and makes it much more like an anti-lag system that you would have found on rally cars, to make them as competitive as possible. I'm just going to slow down because I'm behind some traffic here, and this is a great little stretch of road. It's just so fast. 0 to 60 is well under 4 seconds in this car, as you'd expect with all that power. Rear wheel drive makes it someone you have to respect. Only put the power on when you're sure that the road and tyres are going to cope with it. Put it through the whole system, so without losing control. The traction control system is very sophisticated anyway, and these cars are designed to slide as well, and you can control the slides, but it feels very special. The ride is also sensational. So it's got KW Club Sport, which are two-way controlled in terms of their damping and rebound, can be adjusted as well as being fully height adjustable. And we've had the height adjusted the last time and set up on a Hawkeye wheel alignment rig, so it's been properly set up so that the wheels are pointing as it's been set up as a fast road spec M2 Competition, not just the standard BMW settings. I love the sound of it. I mean, M2 Competitions are fantastic because they're so well laid out. I think most of them are the automatic. There's only a few manuals around, especially for sale. You only see less than a dozen or so in manual format for sale at any one time at the moment. This car's finished in that lovely Hockenheim silver as well, and with all those carbon bits, I think it looks super aggressive, and yeah, a great style. I think it's the high point in terms of styling of the BMW M range, this era, because it still had, rather than going over the top, I think the new M2 is completely over the top in how it's styled, and this era sort of had that modern, fresh look, but also was elegant and not just overly sort of stylized and made to look a bit like a cartoon, if I'm honest. These cars are where you'd see something like a modern version of the M cars of the E46 era, how you would have seen it updated, whereas the new ones I think have gone on a completely different tangent, which is fine, but for some of the purists like me, I think I prefer the sort of more classy styling of this era and previous, rather than the sort of gaudy, over the top styling of the newer versions of these cars. You do get used to how it holds the revs on upshifts as well as downshifts, and the sound of that induction system and the turbo spooling up is very addictive to try and coax them into life. Not that they need much throttle to get them spooling up. It's a very, very... Oh, it just sounds absolutely brilliant. So much fun, and the whole setup of it is fast road spec, which is the kind of car I love myself. That clutch is still something I need to get used to. I do slightly let it out a little bit too soon. I have to be gentler with it and play with the throttle, be a bit more gentle with my throttle movements, because it does kangaroo if you don't give it the respect. This isn't your run-of-the-mill M2 Competition. As you can imagine, it's had a lot of work done to it to make it very much in the ethos of the CS, but at a lower price point. So it still comes in quite a bit cheaper than the equivalent CS, especially with the manual gearbox. The manual gearbox one seemed to be a 10 to 20k premium on the CS side from what I've seen, and this car is a manual competition with some of the really nice bits. Yes, it doesn't have the carbon roof. We do actually have a set of CS wheels that can go with the car, but even on these standard competition wheels, I think it drives beautifully. They are slightly heavier than the CS wheels, and I still think it looks great with this in as well. Just coming out of a village now. There we go. Absolutely amazing. Even just feathering the throttle, it's very playful, makes you smile instantly. The steering as well has got a beautiful weight to it, so precise. You get the feel right the way through of the road surface without too much in terms of feeling like it's crashing over bumps or anything like that. It's been set to be very pliant, and that's the great thing about this KW system, is you can adjust how much you want it to firm up the ride, as well as still maintain its pliancy over bumps. It is quite a firm setup, but it's not as firm as it can be. And I mean, this road here is literally the worst kind of road for a low sports car like this, but it's just handling it beautifully. Feels so pointy. I mean, there is the cliche of saying it handles like a go-kart, but it's not quite that level of directness in the feel. This does feel like a sports car still, not like a race car with sort of like no suppleness. So I wouldn't say it's a go-kart, but it's definitely got a focused drive attitude to it, and that engine map just makes it come alive as well compared to a standard M2 Competition. Back to a normal road now. Wow, this is just this is just something else. Absolutely brilliant. The big brake kit also is a fantastic addition to the standard spec of this car, which was available as an option at the time. I don't think the new one you can option the big brake kit anymore from the factory. I may be wrong, but that's what I've been told by someone else. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short insight into driving an M2 Competition with the CS Spec additions. Thank you for watching.